Well, Philip, I went along to the Darlington hustings last night and listened to what both the candidates have to say. I'm open and honest about the fact that I support Rishi throughout it. One of the striking things that I think wasn't picked up on from Liz's remarks was actually how she would help people this winter. And we've just heard there from your previous guest about the difficulties that people are going to be facing this winter. And yet Liz's plans at the moment, I don't see offer any support for people who are on a very low income, whether that's national living wage or less. That she offers no support for pensioners, and I think that's a great worry for people going into the winter, which we know is going to be incredibly difficult.
Now, it seems to be, Jacob, a bad day for the Rishi campaign today. The Daily Express has come out in support of Liz Truss. We saw 10 new MPs come out for Liz Truss today, including Chris Skidmore, who was defected from the Rishi side to the Liz side. Is this a sign that the contest is all over bar the shouting?
Well, I don't think it is, because I think, Philip, you're a constituency member of Parliament just like me. You'll speak to your association and you'll hear what people are saying on the ground. And the way that I see it is more and more people, when they get an opportunity to either meet Rishi or hear from Rishi at one of the hustings or the leadership debates that we've seen so far, they're engaged by the plans that he has. He's got a sensible plan for the country going forward to help with the cost of living, help tackle energy prices, but also help get inflation down. And I think that those are the key issues that matter to the general public as well. I think as a Conservative Party, we have a responsibility to not just elect someone who is ideologically right for us, but actually who is speaking to, not just to the Conservative Party, but to the country as a whole. And I think that Rishi does that because he understands that the issues that people are facing.
Now, one of the criticisms that lots of people have made in the Conservative Party about this contest is the blue-on-blue attacks that have been happening between the candidates. And, I think that it's fair to say it's been happening on both sides. But pretty recently, we've had people from the Rishi camp saying that Liz Truss is divorced from reality, that what she's proposing would be electoral suicide. I mean, do you really think that kind of language is helpful? Would you distance yourself from that kind of language about somebody who could be your Prime Minister within just a few weeks' time?
Well, I wouldn't use that language myself, but I think, we can't escape from the reality of what people are facing. We're going into this incredibly difficult winter period. And as I said last night at the hustings, Liz Truss didn't have an answer to how she would help pensioners. She didn't have an answer to how she would help people on the national living wage. Her response was to cut national insurance. Okay, well, you cut national insurance and that benefits people who are on the national living wage by about £1 a week. It benefits people who are on £100,000 a year by about £1,000 a year. So, I look at it and think, where's the priorities here? Meanwhile, you've got, Rishi Sunak, who, while he was Chancellor, he knocked £400 off every household's energy bill. He cut the council tax for 20 million households in Britain. He raised the national insurance thresholds as well. So I think, we've got a clear contrast here of someone who's willing to step up and help people through this difficult time versus what I have to say is a plan that I don't think is going to work.